All right. Fernando.
Hey, Sarah, how's it going?
All right. How are you doing?
Wow, it's been such a journey.
Yeah, it has been such a journey.
Incredible.
Yeah. So today is Thursday, the 14th of August, which means that we showed up in Temecula roughly 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
How did you feel going into the event on the 25th? Remember that drive over?
Oh, yeah. Like it was yesterday. I remember feeling very prepared, very confident, very grateful, excited, but really not anxious, not nervous. It was a feeling of the moment has arrived and destiny's here and I got to step through that door.
Nice.
How about you?
I felt really a jumble of emotions because I had such a plate full of stuff in the weeks preceding. On one hand, I was feeling really uncertain about how things would play out, having had all of that, mostly like just mental and emotional stress on top of the strain of massively increasing our workout volume. So I just really wasn't sure, like, how was my nervous system going to be? I might have been mentally there, but was my body going to show up? And on the other hand, I felt I did, and you did, absolutely everything we possibly could have done. Like, I did not feel like we left any opportunity unturned in terms of preparing. We got a swim coach. We were swimming. We were working on improving our pull-ups pretty much every single day for 10 weeks. We were practicing our PST. We were doing an incredible amount of ab work. We were working on endurance. We were doing 3 classes and then a ruck. I don't know that there was, even if we didn't have full-time jobs, I don't know if there was really much more we possibly could have done. And I think because of that, I also, at the same time, I had this sort of like true uncertainty. I also had a sense of peace that I did everything I absolutely could do. And I think in my experience, I feel a sense of regret or feel like I should have done something differently when I don't really do absolutely everything I could. And so I think I got a sense of peace from doing everything we possibly could do. And so I think your attitude helped. We had the right vibe going into the event, and it was come what may, here we are. We don't have any other, we did everything we could possibly do. We don't have any other moments to train. This is it.
Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. Like we did the most of the time we had. Did I wish that we had more time? Oh yeah, absolutely. But did I dwell on that? No, we just made, like you said, the best of the time we had. And you were incredibly amazing in making sure that we stayed on track. You found a coach. Every moment that you found we could align to do more work, free time in your busy life to make the time for us to train. So I'm very, very thankful to you for that. Amongst many, I think that made the difference.
Yeah. Without you, without Brad, without dozens of other people who supported us, especially my wife, taking care of our family, I certainly couldn't have done it. In fact, I almost feel a little bit of embarrassment when I hear from people about completing the event. I feel like I didn't do it. So I can't take that credit. But yeah, I really feel like the power of a training partner was incredibly strong in this event, for sure. Yeah.
And back to what you said about the people around you, one of the things about going through that experience is that when you're done with it, and I reflected on that, one of the things that came up was these amazing, incredible people in my life. Like, as you mentioned, that were part of this journey, even before it was clear that we were going to even achieve it, right? And that brought a lot of clarity to me on the handful of people that I was really looking forward to coming back here and saying thank you in a meaningful way.
I think it's easy to not so much take for granted, but just overlook how much people truly care for you until you have events like this. And it feels like people come out of the woodwork to encourage you and support you. And wow, we're so lucky.
Yeah, we are. And I would say most of them, at least for me, were from T2.
A lot from our CrossFit box in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania.
And it's not the first time, and they've been always very supportive. It's not like a new thing or anything. That's the power of, the team. But
sometimes you just really feel it more.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we arrived and class was bigger than I expected. I thought maybe there were 8 or so people based on what I had gleaned from preparation webinars. There were 15 people starting with us.
Whole walks of life too, which was shocking to me. It was a 17-year-old kid, a 65-year-old gentleman, and everywhere else in between. It was amazing.
A 17-year-old who aspires to be a SEAL. And I think at this point, I have no doubt that he will do that.
Yeah.
Just people from all over the country, from all over the world. And I think one of the most powerful moments, many powerful moments in the event, but one of the most powerful moments was when we got there and we chatted with each other. We also shared everything that Fernando and I and another gentleman who'd been through a crucible before were called in terms of some of the norms and expectations. And then everyone shared the reason that they showed up.
The real reason, like
yeah.
not just what you would expect somebody to,
Right.
people who they don't like know, but this was like some deep, powerful, moving reasons,
Yes,
really.
moving is the right way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't think that after we did that, anyone really could simply give up, because it then felt like we would be giving up on each other. And that was such an incredibly powerful way to start. And I don't know if it would have gone the same way if we hadn't started there. When did you ever have any doubts throughout the event that you would make it?
So no, doubts, no. I got a little concerned that there was something extremely unexpected that I wasn't sure how I was going to handle. Yes. But doubt that I was going to wobble on my mindset of not giving up. No, that was never an option, right? But fear when a few things came up that, wow, this blindsiding me and I gotta do something about it. I don't know what it's going to be, but yeah, 2 very scary moments. You want to know what they are? Or?
I can guess what they are, but
okay. The first one was when we were doing the PST. I got all of the standards except one pull-up. I did my 9th one, and when I went to do the 10th one, my hand slipped. I was struggling, but I knew I could get it, but my hand slipped. And that's when I knew that I had no choice but to do the Murph. And we were already halfway through day one. The Murph wasn't immediately after. It was going to be after more events, so we're going to be more tired. Okay, we'll do the Murph. I had confidence because what we had already done here. Yep. So I knew that I had the capacity of doing within another time. But when we started doing it around round 3, my hands, they tore up, I started bleeding, which is fine because it happened to be during 24. So I was like, okay, I knew this was coming. I'm not pushed through the pain. That didn't bother me at all. I was very like, okay, fine, keep doing. But then round 4, my whole lower body started cramping up so bad that I couldn't even climb to the bar, even doing push-ups. Like when I was straight on my legs would like not respond. It was like losing control of my body like that, and not knowing how was that going to affect my ability, because that's very early in the Murph. So that scared the crap out of me, but I decided not to let it get in my head. I was punching my legs. I was just taking a deep breath, trying to find ways to get up in the bar while managing not to completely cramp up either one of the legs. And that was extremely painful 16 rounds of Murph. Every movement was deliberate so that I wouldn't cramp. And like I would feel the cramps coming and I would have to adjust my form, but still getting every standard. And then that final mile run, my legs were completely shot. Other teammates came beside me, and the first 3/4 of the mile, it was complete pain. I started cramping up really bad. But then on that 4th one, when I knew that I was going to be able to make it if I accelerated, it's like my body and my mind just said, forget that pain, just go for it. And this burst of air just came through me and I just sprinted to the end. And that showed me like, hey, I can conquer my body even if it's failing me. That was an amazing moment, but that was very scary. And the second scary moment was when you hurt yourself, because you have been such an important part of the anchoring energies and important elements in my world to be successful at that event, that when I saw you fell and then you couldn't get up because you were in so much pain, that scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh my God, no. I did panic a little bit. I remember running like, hey, and they're like, hey, calm down. But I was like, no, there's no way. And remember when you said I can't get up, I'm in so much pain. I know you're tough. You're tough as heck. And for you to say you can't get because you're in pain, I was like, oh man, something serious happened here. That scared me a lot. When I saw they took you quickly, they came to you and they took quickly. I was like, okay, she's in good hands. I was like, you know what, she's coming back. And then you were back within 20 minutes, which was mind-blowing to everybody, but me. Because I knew you were going to come back. And the last really scary moment was in the rock and beach, because that was the night of day 2. And by then, on the way to the beach, I felt all these hot spots on my feet that I hadn't felt during the entire event. And I knew we were going to go in an all-night rock, and rocking on uneven, sandy, rocking ground all night long with spots in your feet that remind you that you're in pain. That was scary. And my legs were shot. I couldn't move. So even going into that, from the beginning of that all night long, my whole lower body was screaming in like pain, stiffness. And yeah, that was a very tough night. Yeah. It worried me at some points because I could physically not bend my legs, but it worked out.
Yeah.
I wish for them.
Yeah, that's wild.
How about you?
I said I went into this feeling this uncertainty, but I had this sort of inexplicable experience right after the coaches pulled up. So Fernando and I worked hard to try to get everybody as squared away as we possibly could before the coaches pulled up, because we knew they were going to get upset about things like hands on hips, hands in pockets, bags disorganized. And so we had everybody line their bags and their water bottles up, but we weren't exactly in ranks. They said the coaches pulled up and that's the thing they keyed into. And I almost was like, let's leave something for them to get upset about. That they needed to find something. That's how they set the tone. That's the strategy. But I actually had to fight a little bit to keep a straight face when they were like, what the hell is this? This isn't ranks. And I was almost there, but I didn't.
That was deliberate.
I didn't deliberately pick that, but I knew they were going to pick something. I was trying to work through everything that they would key into, and I should have known, but it almost made me laugh because they picked it up right away. And I was like, you can only take them so far. So in any event, they gave us a lot of shit about that. And they put us in leaning rest in those planks. And I don't know why, but we were in those planks and you stay in there a minute and a half and people start doing like putting their knees down. But it was that moment actually when it just hit me. Everything we do, we're going to have two choices. Choice one, give in when your brain says you can't do this. Choice two, just wait until your body actually gives out. And I was like, I guess I might as well wait till my body gives out. And I felt this like flash of, I don't know if you ever had this when you sit in a plank for a really long time past when your brain tells you to give up, put a knee down, do something. But like this flash, there was like a fire going through my body from my abs to my shoulders. Because if you pulled a plank, it was like every muscle was like, this is the most we can have ever done. I don't know why. It was only like, 2 minutes or something like that. But anyway, I felt this flash of fire and I just decided to calm down and breathe and it just went away. And then I was like in this totally painless plank and I just knew it was going to happen. Like I was going to finish. And I don't know why that suddenly, like it didn't make any sense. Right? Like we did Murph and I've never done Murph with a pack. So like, why was I certain that I was going to do Murph after 9 hours of work with a pack and make it no problem? I don't know. But inexplicably, that's how I felt. And that affected me, I think, when I went down with the ankle, where I had this moment where I was like, oh shit, I might really be out. And then I was like, no, unless my body does not work, I am going to do this. And in some ways, I hate to say it like this, but like in some ways, I went from thinking like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? Right after the swimming, I was like, man, I wish I had done so much better, blah, blah, blah. I was like on myself. And then we did this activity. I was like, oh, I wish I was running faster. And then all of a sudden, my ankle gave out and I had true pain. And I was like, you know what? This is a sign. Stop complaining and do the work. And I felt like the rest of the event just happened after that. And it fixed my mentals in a way that I wouldn't want to. I'm still dealing with it. Just wouldn't want to have another ankle sprain.
It was huge.
But it taught me something really powerful. And, but yeah, so that was my experience of the ankle. And honestly felt like when we were in the PST, so the way it works is you either need to complete all the PST standards or you have to complete Murph within 75 minutes. And I was like, I know you can do this. And we were like, we can do this. And then I saw you in Murph and yeah, there's nothing really I can do then because I've got to do my stuff and I've got to show up too. But I saw you working through it and you went out for the run and I came out to run with you a little bit and then you needed some salt tabs. I ran back and got you the salt tabs. Yeah. And then we had somebody else who was like, frankly, he should have been crushing it. He really got in his head. It was really clear he got in his head. And someone needed to stay with him and give support. But everybody else who was still out went and came to cheer you on or run with you. And I saw you like dug in. I don't know if they helped you or it was really just your mindset, but like I saw you dig in. And when I watched you work through what was clearly excruciating pain to just even do that last 100 meters to get in under the clock, that's when I knew you were going to see her. I was like, he's going to do this. Nothing else is going to get in his way. It doesn't matter. And I think for the rest of the event, you were struggling with cramping. Like at least I had the benefit of a hugely swollen ankle. It was like so swollen I couldn't feel it. So I was like, and I don't want to actually confess this to anybody else, but I only had one blister. Oh. Like I had one blister right here. I know. And so I put one blister like Band-Aid on it and it was resolved in one day. And so everybody else is a week later, they're like, oh, my feet. And I was like, wow, at least I can complain about my ankle. I don't know. I got incredibly lucky. And I honestly felt for the rest of the event, like, I was dealing with pain in my ankle, but like You were dealing with I had one time when both of my triceps locked up, and it was like the only time I was actually in tears because I couldn't extend them and I couldn't release them, and I was stuck in a push-up.
I remember that.
I think I panicked, right? I was like, I can't move. But yeah, so I have a little sense of what you were going through, but I feel like I watched you work through that in every single evolution, starting Friday night all the way through midday on Sunday. And I was just blown away and inspired and reminded everybody's feeling something and you having the resolve to work through that. And I know there are a couple other guys who had a lot of triceps, cramps, crab walks. Ooh. But wow, that was really moving for me. Like that energy, how you showed up and your resolve was incredibly moving for me.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. It was the power of the people around me, the team that came and believed in me and helped me through that very difficult moment.
Yeah.
And the combination of that and God just deep down as, you know what, I got to make it. Yeah. So I think though it was God and the team. That was the key that unlocked everything else. But thank you. I saw you come in and naturally lead. And that's a very rare type of leader that doesn't demand respect, naturally radiates it so people respond to it. And it was inspiring throughout the whole event for me to see you step into that role, even though you didn't ask for it, but it just naturally came to you. People responded to that, people were inspired by that. And not just the core group, but the other groups that we came in contact with. I remember the 12 ex people that you helped guide into some of the things we're doing together. They actually made the point to come back to you and say, hey, thank you so much. And so you have the gift of natural servant leadership, which is super rare, and it can change the world with that type of leadership.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's very inspiring. Anybody who asks was like, whatever, where is she saying to go? Then I have no doubt, like, where is she going to follow her? Because,
yeah. What was your favorite thing from the event, if you could pick
like
one?
feral activity or like?
Yeah, favorite evolution, favorite moment.
That's a very loaded question.
Yeah.
There's so many moments that stick out to me. How about you go first? Because
Okay.
it's just bringing up a lot of my things.
So I think I felt fatigue along the way, not anywhere near what I expected. Two things. One, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought after doing the 24-hour that this would be an extended version of that. This was incomparable. It's an exponentially more challenging event, and it just doesn't, there's really nothing in my mind aligns. At the same time, my body held up amazingly, I thought, for 50 hours of continuous work. And the fatigue came in just in terms of like ability to keep up pace with things like running. It hit me when we were swimming a little bit, although I think actually the absolute hardest part for me was MREs and the effect they had on my gut. I felt like I was going to puke the whole time. Like nothing that happened. Ankle sprain, easy compared to that for me.
I remember
it was ridiculous.
Telling the truth, that I remember he told me, you go all that pain, how are you feeling that? Oh, it's MRE.
It was its own crucible. Yeah. Setting that aside, what honestly felt so amazing to me, and I remember actually you saying this before where you're like, I love log PT. I was like, that guy's crazy. But log PT, every time we did it, I was so stoked. I felt so good. I felt like we were part of a team. I felt like we were doing hard work. We were picking up a real log. Like I felt solid even in hour 51 or whatever it was when we finished. And that felt so good. And I was like, this is what he's talking about. That's amazing. I love this. So yeah, I wouldn't call it favorite from a fun perspective, but I would call it like relief. When we got to the beach and we were doing those beach games, it was like really the first major thing that was going to be a test of my ankle, because running on sand with a sprained ankle while also carrying someone in fireman carry, that could go sideways. I can't imagine how, but I suspect it could go sideways. And the fact that I could do it and I wasn't in horrible excruciating pain, that was when I was like, okay, I think my ankle's going to hold up. And so a really positive recollection of doing significantly better in that than I expected and being able to hang. Because I also was worried that people were going to be like, oh, Sarah has sprained ankle, can't keep up. But that didn't show up. And I felt so fortunate. That was true. Yeah. So those are my key highlights, I think.
Wow. I was surprised you said the log PT. I understand the draw that literally has to be. Wow. That's amazing that you connected to that. And I always remember Coach Rob, he always says the log shows you who you are. I've never forgotten that.
Yep.
And yeah, it does, I think, right? You gotta put out, you gotta, don't give up your team, because if you slack off even a little bit, the rest of the team feels it. Like
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And also it shows you how you show up when somebody else is getting weak, right? If somebody else can't pull their weight, you can be like, well, I can't do it. Or you can adjust, or you can just pick up more weight or whatever. And the experience of a truly interdependent team was one of my major takeaways. And I think that was part of it. It's like, I felt what it felt like. When everybody's pulling their weight, here's what it feels like. When somebody's weak, here's what it feels like. When you readjust to address that as a team, this is what it feels like.
And it's so high stakes too, because that log is enormous.
Yeah.
It's heavy and it could really hurt somebody or the entire team.
Definitely.
That thing is massive.
Right.
And we lifted not just the regular logs, not also rounds. Remember that one ginormous log?
Like a 325-pound log. And we had the Smurf patrol on it. That's the 4 shortest people, which includes Fernando and me. I felt like you and I showed up really prepared for the overhead work.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing that I felt like we really, however unfun it was to hold that fake barbell kettlebells thing, that paid off big time, I thought.
Oh, absolutely. Thinking back about 2 favorite moments, and these are something that just, I mean, out of the many, but so I'll share the 2 moments that I remember now with fondness, which going up Mount Palomar, it was hard, but it was so peaceful, the sky, so many stars. We could see at one point we were so high up that we could see the clouds below us. And it was just such a nice moment to think about, you know, the people that I missed in my life, that I wish that could be there with me, or people that are important to me, being thankful to God. There's moments to reflect. And I realized how I don't make enough time for that in my regular life, to really connect with my thoughts in such a deliberate and extended period of time. But in nature like that, like in the middle of the night with the stars, that was amazing to me. And then the other moment that was very similar was in the beach. I was struggling so much. I remember when it got the hardest, just praying to God and look at the sky and just, you know, be with him, his presence, and he say, hey, I need your help, man, because I'm really struggling. And felt like, you know, again, to show for me. That was amazing. And the last moment that I remember that was really meaningful to me was when we released the sand from the sandbags.
Yeah.
I think that broke a lot of, like, well, top people up there. And I saw a lot of tears, including myself.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a very powerful moment that I think cemented a lot of what that event transformed in maybe a lot of us, or one of the areas that it transformed in us. And yeah, I'll never forget. And of course, when I gave you that hug, like, you know, like, sorry, you know, like that, when he said you're secure, oh, man, it was like a release of like, oh my God, that was amazing. But
I'm glad you brought up the sandbags. I think that was incredibly moving. And when we went on this kind of silent walk, this evolution I learned afterward is called the will to live. And hold the sandbag in chest carry and walk maybe a mile or so silently. And then you go up to this spot where on one side you can see back out over the grinder where you've spent a lot of time in pain. And on the other side, you can see the parking lot area where we showed up and registered and got started. In the time we were up there, I was transported to 2023 when I first showed up for the 12-hour. I remember I showed up for the 12-hour by accident. I don't even remember agreeing to do the 12-hour. I just remember that I told you and Jamie I would train with you. And then all of a sudden, I was the only one going to the event. And the crazy thing is, 3 weeks before the event, I injured both of my shoulders because I had an incident with somebody running into a barbell when I was doing a skull crusher. And so I didn't know what to expect. First of all, I didn't know what to expect in the event. And second of all, I thought there was some possibility that my arms just pop off like Mr. Potato Head at some point, because I saw an orthopedist and he was like, sorry, nothing we can do. So I remember just actually being truly scared when I showed up for the 12-hour, and I was transported back to me showing up for the 12-hour and just who I was then and what I thought and what the 12-hour taught me. Fast forward to the 24-hour. And it also wasn't ideal training. It was like really compressed because I had gotten sick. It was still more than the 10 weeks we had for this one. But I showed up with a different mindset for that one and who I was then and how I learned from that. And then Friday morning, I'd shown up with this inexplicable sense of peace. And I don't know, it came together just as I had trusted it would without actually knowing how. And man, I cried. I for sure cried. Yeah.
We talk about what the actual like the evolution, like what the dolls to do. Do you remember like
Yeah.
support? Yeah.
Yeah. So Coach Rob led this one, and Coach Rob is the person who starts the event with Kokoro. And then after we do our leaning rest and several push-ups, we go for the short jog, like maybe quarter mile maximum, through a little trail, up a hill, down a hill to the grinder. But at the top of the hill, we all pause coming in and we look out over the grinder. And he talks about how the grinder is this sort of physical manifestation of our mental, emotional battlefield, what we're going to take on over the course of the next 50 hours. And their approach to this is not to coddle you in any sense. At the same time, they're trying to coach you to navigate one of the hardest, or maybe the hardest thing you've ever experienced in your life, at least from a physical, mental, emotional sort of combination perspective. And that's the tone that he set. So it's now fast forward to Sunday morning. The 24-hour has secured. We're not clear on what else we have to do, but we know there's some things. We do this silent walk back up to the top of this hill, and he has us not just look out over the grinder, but turn around and look out over that parking lot.
And that's hour what, like hour 49 maybe?
Yeah, probably 49.
Okay.
Like we're pretty, and it has us remember who we were when we showed up on Friday morning and started thinking about all the things that we had done since Friday morning and how long it seems relative to what a normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday feels like, right? Like how many of us get home after work on Friday and then all of a sudden it's Sunday night.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like the longest 50 hours of your life. Felt like weeks. And what did you go through? What did you learn about yourself? What opportunities did you have to give up when you did not give up that brought you right here? Who were the people that you got close to? Who were the people that you lost along the way? We started with 15, we ended with 12, which was pretty darn good, actually, as Kokoro classes go. And then they had us turn our sandbags upside down so that the tied part was at the bottom and the long part from across the bottom was up at the top, away from our bodies. And Coach Rob had us think about the weight that the sand represented, the weight in our lives that we came to let go of, represented for us. And everybody brought something we knew from the whys. And we also learned, I think, about ourselves during 50 hours, things that we came to learn about ourselves, and we sure did. And so it was a chance for us to let go of our own weight, which felt really heavy at that point because even 20 pounds in a chest carry for half an hour is you're burning at that point if you've held it right. And so it almost like I was letting go of my 3 years of weight that I was trying to work through, whatever that might be. And also just so thankful for the chance to help other people let go of their weight. And then they took a razor and they cut open each bag and they had us in our own time let the sand spill out as if letting go of the weight that we've been carrying. And it was at 49 hours. You don't have a lot of emotional control. It was an incredible experience. And I think it was, I don't know, I'm very grateful that we had a chance to do that for sure.
I thought I was the only one emotional. And then I looked and we've never seen a whole bunch of really tough people you could say have gone through hell and back. Just saw it. Or like trying not to lose it, but it was. Yeah. So I'll share, to me, it was releasing that weight of feeling that to myself, I always thought that I was never good enough. Finally proving to myself that I was, and didn't mean that it is the last of what I'm going to continue doing, but feeling like, hey, there's something here tangible, proof to myself, not to others, to myself, that I can take on something. And yes, I have grown. I have achieved things in my life that brought me to that point, and take on the hardest thing I've ever done and succeed at it, no matter how hard it came, and just proving to myself that no matter what I set my mind to, no matter how difficult it will get, I'm enough, right? I can do it. And connecting that with my gratitude to God for giving me that opportunity, but knowing that it's not just me, it's God also gave me that, and the people He's put in my life. Just, releasing those doubts about myself and being grateful for recognizing that it's all of that within myself and outside of me, God, and especially with my life. That was very cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really incredible. I think in a lot of ways that weight is about self-doubt and self-recrimination for mistakes, multitudinous mistakes in my case, in your life. And yeah, I just remember at the end, Coach Rob came over and he gave me a hug and he said, "I'm proud of you." And I said, "I'm finally proud of me too."
I'm proud of you. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was, yeah, I mean, you're one of the most exceptional people that I know. And we didn't get closer until we started this event. And, yeah, I'm one of the many amazing things that came out of this event is that I got to know you and I continue to learn from you. And you continue to inspire me. So,
yeah, likewise. Well, I hope we have many happy training days ahead.
Yeah, which brings us to the topic of what's next.
Yeah, it feels like it's not even like we conquered the physical mountain because it's so much more than that. And there are certainly more physical things we could do. Like we could do an Ironman and that's a different set of challenges, or a 100-mile run and that's a different set of challenges, or whatever. And I think the upshot is there's a confidence that we could do any of those things. No question. No matter what, we can do any of those things. And there are also these other frontiers. Now that we have this mental and emotional fortitude, how do we apply that? Where do we take it? And how do we help others? I think on one hand, I feel like it's an amazing accomplishment and it feels really good. And on the other, I feel like it doesn't belong to me at all. Like the only way that I got here was having a great training partner and an amazing coach, an incredible spouse and partner who's caring for me and our kids along the way and encouraging me. All of the people in this community who wrote letters to me and notes that I could take with me and texted me and checked in on me and watched us on Instagram. I have not ever seen Fernando, I don't think, light up like when Coach Mo told you that Melinda Boyd was watching. People that might not seem like a big deal to people, but that's so huge. That's so huge. And it's so meaningful, and to feel cared for like that. Wow.
So the compliment doesn't belong to you, but to the people around you. So where has that led you to potentially explore your next step?
I think it's caused me to step back and think about a variety of things. One is like, how do I maintain a level of wellness, like true holistic wellness that lets me show up really well for my family and the other people that I felt supported by, to support them back? And how do I help more people see that this is, in a lot of ways, I'm not special, right? Like people can do this. Building tools, developing the fortitude to get through. It might not be a Kokoro event, but there are life events that are challenging. And it makes me feel like I want to really help people navigate those because they're doable, and going through them can really bring a sense of growth, accomplishment, a sense of feeling proud and confident in yourself. And so that's one thing that's on my mind a lot is I'd love to do more physical events with more people, right? Bring more people into the process. And I also want to keep challenging myself. And I don't know. I am intrigued by the idea of, can I do a 15-mile weighted ruck in 4 hours or less? I don't know. That wasn't part of our challenge. And I love being outside. I love being in nature. And I think I've always had in my mind that I wanted to do big hikes, like Mount Rainier, for example. So those are some things on my list. And I know I've always wanted to do more intensive breath work as a part of both mental, emotional, intuitive journey for myself. And so I'm going to start exploring what that looks like too. And I know you have an even more aggressive version of that on your horizon.
It's so challenging because it is true that there is life before Kokoro and life after Kokoro. You read people saying that, but then it hits you as a reality that you're now living. And I think I'm starting to maybe get a little glimpse of what that could mean. And yes, there is a sense of accomplishment of something that was so difficult, right? And it wasn't just going to something that we knew was going to be difficult. It was all the challenges along the way, like that journey. It was not the journey that we planned. Stuff came up that made it even significantly more complicated than what it was going to be. And the fact that we accomplished that, we navigated through that, it just, I don't know, I think it expanded my perspective of, if I'm able to do this, if we're able to do this, God gave us this opportunity, led us, I feel like my entire life to that moment, the destiny to go through that. I feel like that's like a call. I think I'm part now of, or we're part of a group now, a very select group of people that have gone and successfully completed that, the series of trials, which is not something that most people, I think, or even a version of myself years ago would willingly say, oh, I'm going to do that, because I wouldn't have never even believed that I could do it. And just stepping into the destiny and just doing it, I feel like almost put us into like a category of people in this world that I think God has led to a path that is meant for a higher calling. Because what can you not do if you feel that you can do anything? If you feel like you cannot fail at anything, then what should your next goal be? And not only that, but with God's help and guidance, it's such a powerful, I think, symbiosis of events and energy and destiny that it's just, I don't know. I think it's going to take me a while to find what the next thing is going to be, because yeah, like you said, it's going to be impactful to the world. And whatever goals I had prior to Kokoro, they seem so small now. They feel like, yes, I can do them, but is that where I want to utilize this amazing opportunity and gift, and where I want to journey with the other people around me that went through this evolution with me? We're still in touch with the people that did the Kokoro with us, and that's a special bond. And if we could do that event together as a team, imagine as a team what else we could do, not just individually. So I am clear that I want to make sure that I maintain my physical level, because I'm in the best shape of my life and I want to keep it that way. So I'm clear on that. It's just where do I open space in my life to do the next thing, which is yet to be determined. But I feel like it's going to have to be at the same level of the opportunity that God put in front of me.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, it feels like an extraordinary responsibility.
Yes, a responsibility. Yes, exactly. Nothing to be used lightly. Like, I feel like we're now a part of a dangerous, in a good way, group of people like they put it in the world to do something amazing. Yeah. So
stay tuned.
Yeah. Wow. Anything else that you want to?
I can't say enough how I have observed your journey from 2023 when we first did a training together till now. And wow, you've worked through injuries. You've worked really hard. You have established and maintained an incredible level of fitness, incredible attitude and commitment, and willingness to take feedback and shift from tough coach. And I find that impressive and inspiring, and I have no doubt about your capacity to rise to the moment, having seen what you've been able to do in the last 3 years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot, especially coming from you, because I know that you are very deliberate with the words that you use. You're very precise with your words, and the words are powerful. So thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, who is that?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.